I saw this getting spicy.
Two minor children supported. So we filed a petition with this court to establish paternity of the party's minor children and to adopt a parenting plan. Excuse me. Mr. Wambeer filed, we initially served him. He filed a parenting plan. I asked for the court to interpret that. The court gave him time to amend his answer. We set this for mediation. Apparently, Mr. Whitworth hired Miss Kathy Everett.
Mr. Wambeer?
Wambeer, excuse me, I'm sorry. Mr. Wambeer hired a Miss Kathy Everett to represent him only in the mediation. I did not realize that when we mediated this matter last week. He had counsel appear. Miss Everett filed a notice of appearance in the juvenile court case where there was no petition pending. And she appeared in the Chancery Court mediation. And after it was over with, then Miss Salinas, our mediator, notified me that Miss Everett was only retained to attend mediation with Mr. Wambeer. So he is here now pro se, but I wanted the court to be aware of that I was under the impression that he had counsel. She had filed a notice of appearance. I didn't pay close enough attention, and her notice of appearance was filed in the juvenile court where there wasn't a case pending.
Old battle axe versus a pro se.
This
This should be fun.
Juvenile court seeking to have Mr. Wambeer found in contempt of the orders of this court as he's in excess of $10,000 in arrears of his support obligation. I have served him with that petition today. I had reached out to Miss Everett to see whether she would accept service. She advised that she would not, that she was only hired to attend mediation. So I did serve him with that petition today, and there's a petition for contempt in juvenile court. And so what we're here today, Your Honor, is on our petition to adopt a parenting plan. We have filed our proposed parenting plan, and we're ready to proceed on that. As I said, we had earlier filed a motion back in December for a motion for judgment on the pleadings and to set for a final hearing. He was allowed to amend in his pleadings, and as I said, we're here to proceed to adopt a parenting plan. Just as an FYI, as I said, Mr. Wambeer is pro se. Mr. Drake is on the James case that we have that's also on the docket. He has filed a motion to continue. And Ms. Hendricks and I have another contested matter that we'll take. So I'm just kind of coming up with Mr. Drake has a motion to continue the James case. So I didn't know what Your Honor was.
Well, before we start in, let me hear the motion to continue then before we start in on this case.
Yes, sir.
Let me first address Mr. Wambeer. My understanding is that from what Ms. Roberts says, that you had a lawyer for a limited purpose, but you are not represented by counsel at the present time. Is that correct? And you understand this is for the final hearing to adopt a permanent parenting plan. The issue of child support is in the juvenile court, but this court will be setting a residential schedule instead here, and you are ready and willing to represent yourself on that? All right. You will step aside. Let me step back in the audience and let me deal with this motion to continue first.
That he's behind in excess of.
We're ready for Whitworth versus Wambeer. All right.
Judge Wolf knows this is going to suck.
Ms. Roberts, you are the moving party, so you may proceed.
It's all in his voice.
seeking to establish court. And so we're seeking to do it. We filed a parenting plan because Mr. Wambier has left this area. He still has family members here, but he has moved out of state. And it's our proposal that he would have the availability of coming to Tennessee one weekend per month and having the children for the weekend. He would need to provide 30 days notice of his intent to come to Tennessee to exercise the residential time. We have divided the Christmas holiday with her getting the first half and him having the second longer half from December 27th until the day before the school term resumes. Summer, we propose that he gets 2 non-consecutive weeks, one in June and one in July. We're proposing meeting here at the Justice Center to exchange the children. And we're also asking, because there has been repeated issues and of alcohol, drug abuse, he has been to rehab, and we're asking that the provision be placed in that he expressly prohibited from consuming, ingesting, or exposing the children to any alcohol during any residential time. And that if, should he return to a rehab, that his time be suspended. And we had asked for a period of 6 months to ensure that he's working his plan. Again, child support is already set at $821. The testimony is going to show that he has failed and refused to pay child support, that he's behind in excess of $10,000 at this point in time. We're asking that she be designated as primary residential parent, that she make decisions for the children as she's been doing that, and that he be declared, again, there's no issue of him being declared as the father.
Mr. Wambier, you have the right representing yourself to make any statements. Do you wish to make a statement?
Yes, sir.
You'll come to the podium. You're representing yourself. You'll be held to the same standards as a lawyer. So.
Your Honor, I haven't seen my children in a year.
You have not seen them in a year now?
That's correct, sir. They have been withheld from me for a year. I've made numerous attempts at contact. I've offered to send money for birthdays, for events. I've offered to come to Tennessee to pick them up. I've either been ignored by Ms. Whitworth or been told that we need to wait until paternity had been established, because it was not established. This happened, or this began April of last year. After paternity was established on our last visit to court, which was something around 4 months ago, I did contact Ms. Whitworth and ask if I may see the children now that paternity had been established. She said we are going to wait until the plan has been finalized. I am in arrearages of, I don't know the exact total. I would assume it's close to that $10,000 mark. It was wrong of me, but I tried to use child support as a means of leverage. I did tell Ms. Whitworth that that if she wanted the child support, she would need to let me see my children. I did hear a case you had presented earlier, and I have an obligation to pay child support whether or not she's allowing me to see the children. And that's my fault. I'll begin getting back on that schedule starting at the beginning of next month. My schedule currently sits, and I still believe it to be in the best interest of the children, where all holidays be split on even and odd number. I would get them even years, she would get them odd years, or vice versa, however the court would see fit. For vacation days, anytime the children are out of school for greater than a week, Ms. Whitworth and I be allowed to split that time. Anything that is a week-long vacation for the children, we would rotate even years and or odd years. Anything that was 2 weeks or greater, I would get them for 1 week, she would get them for the next week. As it pertains to summer breaks, I would get them for the month of June. The next year, I would get them for the month of July.
He's surprisingly on point.
Even an odd time schedule as far as the years go. I'm asking for joint decision-making for everything educational, everything emergency and non-emergency, as well as how they view religious upbringing, and extracurricular activities, especially with the extracurricular activities. I can faith in if I have the children and they are engaging in cheerleading or any type of extracurricular.
Oh, it's glorious.
Activity, football, baseball, such as that, it would be my responsibility to court them to and from. So for, I think Jake or Raiden is getting quite into football, and I think that that would interrupt like a July visit. But I think that's something that, you know, Ashley and I could come to an agreement on as far as, you know, visitation throughout that month.
I'm going to give you a
I've
chance
been
to
good.
testify, and what you're saying now is just in the form of an opening statement, so it gives me an idea of where you're going.
Claude's out of hand.
Um,
I'm not
all
gonna
right,
lie.
if you'll have a seat there, Ms.
Yes, sir.
Roberts is the moving party, so she'll be allowed to put on her proof first, then I'll hear from you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Wambier, if you'll come around, we're going to put you on as the first witness for Mrs. Whitworth. Raise your right hand and be placed under oath.
I do.
Mr. Wambier, you understand that you're now under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were giving your opening argument to the judge, you were not under oath.
Okay,
Okay, so you now understand that you've swore to tell the truth,
that's correct.
and you understand that the statements that you made before the court on your
Yes.
opening statement, will you affirm that all of those were true?
Yes, I would like to, so I don't commit perjury.
Mhm.
December of last year, I was allowed to visit the children for 30 to 45 minutes. That was the only time that I saw the children. It was something that I did forget to mention in the opening statement, but that, other than that, all else remains true.
Okay, so you are admitting that you are significantly behind in child support.
Yes, ma'am.
You are admitting that you knew willfully, that you were willfully behind in child support, that you knew you owed that obligation,
Yes.
correct? And that you used the child support as a weapon, basically, against Mrs. Whitworth to try to get some type of agreement on visitation. Is that correct?
Weapon is a strong word.
Well, what word are you going to use?
I'm sticking with leverage.
Leverage, okay, but you're stating under oath that that you're willfully withheld paying child support and you used it,
I
correct?
did. Yes,
And you understand, today I've served you with a petition for contempt. But again, you understand that your statements before the court, and we have a court reporter down here, that were true and correct. Is that correct? Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. I just wanted to verify that at this point in time, and then I'll recall him at a later date. I just
All
wanted
right,
to.
Mr. Wambier, if you'll step down, please. For the record, Ms. Roberts, we are correct. I am correct that I am not dealing with a child support issue at all, correct? Well, clearly, the question of payment of child support or lack of payment of child support and the reasons therefore are also factors that the court can and must consider in determining the appropriate parenting plan. So I will obviously be allowed to, or will be considering that when we get to that issue. Call your first witness, your next witness, rather. Ms. Whitworth, if you'll come around, please.
Oh, no.
Ashley Nicole Whitworth.
Whitworth, where do you reside?
I live here in Charlotte.
And you have two minor children, is that correct, with Mr. Nathaniel Wambier?
Yes.
And what are their names and ages?
Raiden Warmbier, and he is 10. Renoa Warmbier, and she will be turning 5 in July.
Okay. Now, Raiden, is he in school?
Right now he's on summer break, but yes, he goes to Charlotte.
And what grade is he in?
He's going to 5th.
Fifth grade, and he attends at Charlotte Elementary.
Yes.
And how you pronounce your daughter's name, Raina?
Renoa.
Renoa.
Yes, ma'am.
Renoa is 5,
Mm-hmm.
and she has not been in school. Is that
No.
correct?
Correct.
Will she start kindergarten in August?
in August.
And will she be going to Charlotte Elementary with
She
your
will.
son?
Yes.
Do you have any other children
Renoa?
in your household?
Seriously?
And who are they?
Jacob Bryant, he is 13.
Okay, and he is your biological child, is that
Yes.
correct? And what grade is he in?
He's going to 9th. He'll go to Creekwood.
And he will be going here on the north side to
Mhm.
Creekwood, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you currently live with someone, is that correct?
correct.
And you're engaged and
Yes.
married. What is that gentleman's name?
Joshua Barber.
And ma'am, what do you do for a living?
I work at the Dixon County Sheriff's Office in the jail.
Okay. And how long have you held that position?
8 years.
And what hours do you work?
I work 7 to 3. Monday through Friday.
Monday through
Ma'am, are
Friday.
you a whore?
And your children are in school. Do they have any type of daycare, or who keeps them when you're at work and they're not in school?
Renoa goes to daycare. The boys stay home
And Renoa is still going to daycare
until
through the
August.
summer.
Yes.
And then will she go to before care and after care? Because
No.
you have to be there at
No.
7, but you can drop her off.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Will you need daycare in the summer?
No.
Who will keep her in the summer?
The boys.
Now, where you live here in Charlotte,
I
is that
do.
correct?
Yes.
Now you and Mr. Wambier had a relationship together, is that correct? How many years were y'all together?
11. We were together from November of 2011 and split January 23.
And as a result of, during the time you together, did Mr. Wambier develop a significant alcohol problem?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It progressed significantly once he signed over his rights to his oldest child. He started to drink a lot every single day. He did work here and there, but I asked him multiple times to go to rehab. He would never go. He just finally decided to go this last year, I guess,
Did he drink around the children?
every day,
And did he become intoxicated around the children?
every day.
Did his personality and the way that he interacted with them and you change when he consumed alcohol?
Yes. He was very argumentative when he liked to drink.
Okay. And where were y'all? Were y'all living in your home, or where were y'all living?
Mine.
In the home?
I would always rent a home and he would stay there. There was never anything in his name.
Okay. And he moved out when?
January of 23.
Okay, and shortly thereafter, do you know where he went?
I know he was working for Marquette Barge Company, so he went back to the boat. Whenever he came back from the boat that last time after we split, I don't know where he went, aside from he told me he had a girlfriend, and then he was married and living in Illinois within 2 months. So I don't.
So he moved to Illinois.
Yes,
Do you know where in Illinois?
Collinsville.
Collinsville. And how far distance is that between where y'all are living?
Approximately 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, I guess.
But y'all had never gone to court to establish paternity or to do anything.
No,
No, correct.
just child support court.
And after he left, you filed a petition to get child support.
I did.
Was he paying you something before?
He was paying about $600 a month. And then I asked him one time, did you pay child support, or are you going to send me child support? And he said that he wanted the tools that were in our closet. And I told him he wasn't getting those tools. And he asked me, do you want the tools or do you want the child support? And so at that point I took it to court.
Okay. And so even before there was a court order, he was using supporting the kids as some method against you, as his words, leverage.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so did he quit paying you?
Yes.
And you filed a petition with the state of Tennessee to seek child support. Is that
Yes.
correct? To your knowledge, y'all went to juvenile court and his child support was established based on your earnings and his earnings. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? But there's no question that he is the biological father of these children. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Now, after he left, did he contact you, come back? And this is 2023, correct?
Yes.
Did he come back and visit the kids? Did he ask to visit the kids? Tell me what transpired.
So we were doing a visitation. So he would call and ask to see the kids. Because I know the kids need their dad and they would like to see their dad. I did let them go with him to Illinois to see his dad, to see their dad. When the issue arose was drop-offs. Hey, can you bring the kids at this time? Well, then that time come and gone, and he's making all the excuses in the world as to why he can't, or it's been changed, such as Easter
Mhm.
is really my breaking point. Was we were together for 11 years. He was well aware of what we did on Easter, what we did on all holidays for that matter. But it was, we do Easter at my mom's at 12 o'clock. He picked up the kids from my mom and went to Illinois. And when he had spoken to her, and he asked her what we were doing for Easter, and she said, it's the same as every year, my house, 12 o'clock. So he took that upon himself to change our drop-off time to 12 o'clock on Easter. And no, that wasn't it. It was Saturday, so the kids could wake up, and then it was
Well, where were y'all supposed to meet?
my mother's house. He was
Okay.
supposed to take the kids to my mother's house. No, I'm sorry. It was going to be Saturday. We moved it to Sunday at 11 because my aunt was there, or my aunt wasn't going to be there. So then it was, I guess, 11. He ended up showing up at 12:30.
And were there other occasions when you had, before we filed the petition in July of 2024, seeking to get a parenting plan
Mhm.
established. Prior to that, were there other occasions that you tried to work with him and set specific dates and times for him to get the kids and to bring them back?
While we were dealing with the parenting plan?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
before we filed.
Yes, ma'am.
He left in January of 2023, correct?
So I guess July, for 4th of July, we attempted to allow him to get the kids and wrote up a petition, and he refused to sign it.
Okay. But prior to that, were there occasions that when he left in 23 up and until July of 24, for about a year and a half, when there was nothing pending other than the child support matter, did he visit with the kids?
I don't remember.
Okay. Were there occasions that he was supposed to pick them up and either not show up or refuse to
There
bring
was a
them back
time where
on
he was
time?
supposed to show up and didn't show up till 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. And so at that point in time, it prompted you to try to get a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we filed this in July of 2024. And again, have you offered for him to come here and visit with the children and to visit?
He came at Christmas. I said that he could come down, or his wife technically asked if they could come, and I never responded to her. And then he asked, and I stated, yes, you can come over and give the kids their Christmas gifts, whatever. He stated that he was allotted at 30 to 45 minutes. He chose to stay 30 to 45 minutes. He was in and out.
But again, previous to that, had he taken the kids and then you thought they were coming back on a certain time and then he would change it?
Before or after we established the parenting plan?
No, before.
Yes, multiple times.
So again, were you concerned about him taking the kids to Illinois and then just not bringing them back?
Yes, ma'am.
And had he threatened that?
You know,
Had he ever threatened to
Leading.
take them and not bring them?
I don't believe so. I don't believe he
Whatever.
ever threatened it, but his demeanor and the way that he speaks to me about things
It was a
doesn't
concern for you.
or it gave me concern.
Okay. And again, you heard him testify. I put him on the witness stand. He was ordered to pay child support, given credit for what he had voluntarily paid, and he has failed to, and he's in excess of $10,000 in arrears of support.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct?
Yes.
Now, and during this period of time, has he talked about, have you received text messages and different things from him that are vulgar and inappropriate?
Yes.
I mean, has he sent you one particularly and repeatedly called you a cunt?
Yes, ma'am.
And threatened to call your place of work, the sheriff's department, and have you arrested or
Mhm.
have you fired?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Most recently, has he actually even stated in his emails, as it turns out, when I sobered up, I got to see exactly who the fuck I was all those years?
Yes, ma'am.
But now that the alcohol is gone, I've got a degree of clarity of who I am and what I need.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you learned either through him that he actually did go to rehab?
I learned through his wife.
Okay, when was that?
Gosh, I couldn't tell you. It's maybe 2 years now.
Okay. And do you have a belief of whether or not he's maintained his sobriety?
He has not maintained his sobriety.
And how do you know that?
He had made a Facebook post speaking about me and my fiance, claiming that my fiance gives his children alcohol.
Does your,
And-
number one, does your fiance have children?
He does,
And how old are they, those children?
19 and 18.
Okay. And Mr. Wambier has said that that your fiance gives his children alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
No, ma'am.
And what, go ahead, and did he make admissions that he had lost his sobriety?
He did. My fiance's ex-wife actually wrote him and said that she doesn't know what's going on, but can you please leave my children out of it? And he, in a response to her, stated that 10 months of sobriety was gone.
And is that a concern for you with your children?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, his drinking major reason on why y'all separated and aren't together.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct? Your kids are in school. Do they do any extracurricular activities? Again, I know your 5-year-old is,
Yes.
there's not a lot limited that she does.
But Raiden does do football.
And what does it, where does he play ball?
Right now, he plays for the Charlotte Lions.
Okay, and that is a fall sport.
Yes.
And do they start practicing right after in July?
They practice in July, yes.
Okay. Has Mr. Wambier tried to come down and visit or done anything? I mean, recently, did you get a call saying, hey, I'm 30 minutes out, I want to stop by? Or
I did.
when was that?
2 weekends ago,
Okay.
I guess.
Tell me the context of what went on.
So he called me and said, hey, I'm about an hour and a half out. Do you mind if I stop and see the kids? Originally, I did speak that he could,
Mm-hmm.
but I was thinking of, the kids do want to see their dad. After thought, that's really not good for them either. Him to pop in and leave so randomly. So I called him back and said it probably wasn't a good idea.
And again, this was after you discovered that he had
Relapsed.
had relapsed.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes.
And are your conversations always volatile?
Yes,
And who makes them that way?
he does.
Have you tried to include him in the children's day-to-day lives? Do you,
Not anymore. I don't.
why?
Because he always makes it into a fight. He ends up calling me names and I don't have to tolerate that anymore.
Okay. And again, texting you that, but now that the alcohol is gone, I've got a degree of clarity who I am and what I need. You've always been selfish, reckless, and inconsiderate to those around you, even your own kids. And to your own kids. I stayed a little too drunk to do anything about it, but times have changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen here, you stupid cunt. You and Josh is your fiance, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct?
Yeah.
Both should be thanking whatever fucking God you believe in that you still have jobs, that you still have custody of the kids. It's only my belief that the kids need their mama, that I haven't called the state on your ass, and that I haven't written a letter to your sheriff about harassment. Are those typically the conversations that y'all have?
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds like us.
This just keeps getting worse and worse with your ass. You'll keep trying my patience until I finally do take you for custody. Take care of those babies and use some fucking sense.
Yes, ma'am.
He has a flair of flowery language, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and you love reading it.
You
You
get
love
tired of
it.
listening to that?
I sure do. I quit responding.
Okay. At this point, I'm fucking sick of these stupid fucking games you're both playing. You cannot replace me with some fucking dipshit who just walks in and acts like a pretend daddy. You're a pathetic excuse for a mother or a parent.
Uh-huh.
I hope your fucking arteries clog up.
And this was after rehab.
This is what?
After rehab, when he was supposedly sober.
Right. I refuse to pretend to be nice to you anymore. And he's not, is he?
No.
Does he have family in this area?
That is a classic.
Not in
Already.
Dixon, but his
Instant
family
classic.
lives in Stewart County.
Okay. You offered to let him come any weekend and visit with the kids?
Have I offered?
I mean, if he's asked, has he, if you would, just go and explain to the court how many times that he's called and asked for them since we filed this petition in July of 2020.
So he asked for 4th of July, that he refused to sign the order. His wife asked for March. I never spoke with him about it, and his random phone call, or Christmas, and then his last random phone call.
The 4 occasions, including when his wife,
Correct.
and he came one time.
Yes.
Has he ever time with,
No.
spent time with them?
No.
What was the plan for this last Christmas? Even though he said he hadn't seen the kids in a couple of years, that, and he recanted when he got on the witness stand and said he did see them.
So he called and said he was in town for Christmas, obviously with his family. This was actually in July, or January, not December. Said that they were all in town doing Christmas with his parents. His parents got it to get the kids stuff for Christmas. They got stuff for Christmas. Can we swing by and bring it? I was like, well, we're gonna be going to Jacob. I believe Jacob had something going on. Oh, his wrestling ceremony. I said, well, we've got a place to be, but you can swing by and
Your oldest child had a
yes.
school event.
Yes. I said, you're more than welcome to come by, bring the kids their gifts, hang out for a while till we got to go. They showed up, stayed maybe 30 minutes and left.
Kids enjoy seeing him?
They did.
Do you want to establish a parenting plan to give him an opportunity to get reacquainted with these kids?
Yes.
You want him to make the effort to come and to visit?
Yes.
We have filed a parenting plan with this court stating that he can come down here any weekend upon 30 days notice and have them for the weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
And he has a place to stay with family,
As far as I know, his mother or his grandparents.
and they live in Stewart County.
His grandparents live in Clarksville. His parents live in Dover. Yes.
And so you don't have a problem with him keeping them for a weekend?
No.
But during that time, if they have an extracurricular activity, if Brayden is playing football, if he comes down in the fall, you want him to be required to carry him?
Yes.
Correct? And you think that would be appropriate for him to start that residential time to get reacclimated and back with the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, you've offered him 1 week in June and 1 week in July.
Correct.
Is that correct? And you're still willing to let him have that this summer?
Yes.
Here we are at the end of May, so he could have time with them for the summer.
Mhm.
Are there activities that have already been planned for the,
Raiden and Renoa do have Vacation Bible School, June 10th through the 12th.
and then do you have a family vacation planned?
Not this summer, no.
So again, him pick a week in June, and other than when they're going their vacation Bible school.
Mhm.
And when does the football program start for Ray?
The end of July.
The end of July.
Yes.
So anytime before the first couple of 3 weeks of July.
Yes, and Renoa's 5th birthday party is July 19th.
So you already have a party planned and paid for.
Yes.
So the 19th is not a week. that he can have
Correct.
to show. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you want to have you made the decisions about the kids? As far as going, who signed them up for school?
I did.
Has he, to your knowledge, has he reached out to the school and signed up for any type of Charlotte? Do they use Classroom Dojo or
They do use Class
Skyward?
Dojo. Class Dojo and Skyward.
And Skyward. And those are both available to be signed up for,
Yes.
correct? And the instructions for that are on the website with the Dixon County Board of Education.
Correct.
To your knowledge, has he signed up for any of that information?
No, ma'am.
Who carries him to the doctor?
I do.
Are they covered under TennCare?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he offered to pay any insurance or anything from that standpoint?
No.
Money's always been a tool that he uses against you,
Yes.
correct? Who's provided for food and clothing and housing and all of their activities?
Josh and I.
Okay, and carried them to school, picked them up, paid lunch money, done the day-to-day drudgery of being a parent, not the fun stuff, but the work part of it. Who's done that?
I do.
Has he reached out and asked and said, how are the kids' grades doing? What are they involved in?
No.
And if you reach out to him, are these just some samples of how you're responded to?
Yes, ma'am.
And we have stacks and stacks that we could go through. They're all consistent.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes,
You want to be able to make the decisions without being called a cunt, don't you?
absolutely.
Holidays. If he picks a weekend that's a Monday holiday and gives you sufficient notice, do you have a problem with his one weekend a month to be extended holiday?
No, I do not.
You're just asking for notice
Yes, ma'am.
and consistency.
Absolutely.
Are you concerned about his drinking?
I am.
Concerned about his temper?
I am.
Are you concerned that he's going to try to speak badly about you and try to use the kids as a pawn against you, like he's used money as a pawn against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he offered, I mean, is any concern whatsoever about whether the kids are being fed and clothed and have adequate
No, he's
nutrition
not.
and things like that?
No, he is not.
Other than calling you these nasty and ugly names repeatedly? You offered any assistance in helping rear these kids?
No.
Gripes about your fiance?
Yes.
But again, he married just a few weeks after y'all separated, correct?
Correct.
And did you know his wife?
I did not.
Have you met her other than,
Until they got married. No, ma'am.
and have you met her since then?
Yes.
Have any issues with her?
No, ma'am. Other than she will like to send nasty grams too. Every once in a while, she'll get in her feelings and send me a nasty gram, and I just don't say anything. And
This is between you and him. You're the parent.
correct.
And you think the parenting plan that we proposed is appropriate given the circumstances?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Now he's going to ask you some questions,
Okay.
okay?
Well, if you're representing yourself, this is not your chance to make statements. It's your chance to ask questions. If you want to, you're not required to. Do you want to ask her any questions? All right. Thank
Ma'am, are you a whore?
Ms. Roberts, you may call your next witness. Good. Petitioner has rested their proof, so Mr. Wambier, do you wish to testify or offer any other proof?
I was taking those moments as a reflective period. A lot of what she read out, that was very true. I said some nasty, heinous things. I didn't
It was
do
true.
right. I'm willing to accept the proposal that they've given so that we can end.
All right,
end
Ms.
this.
Roberts, it appears he's willing to accept your proposal. So if you will submit your proposal in written form, then we will go from there. Thank you, Mr. Wambier. If you will wait around, you'll just confirm that, just have a seat for a second.
Judge Wolf is like, so why did I have to listen to this crap?
I have his address and he's,
All right,
and his email address. He's provided that to me previously. So I will just do an order adopting our parenting plan
fine.
and send that to
Ma-
him.
make sure that that reflects that he announced in open court that after hearing the testimony, he would agree to it. Let me just talk to the two of you for just a second. Ms. Roberts has heard me talk about this for some time. I understand why you might have animosity towards her and you feel like you're being cut out of your children's lives. It is your obligation to pay child support, whether you get to see your children or not. It is her obligation to allow you to have a visitation with the children, whether you're paying or not. And what I would remind you both is that the interest that you need to be putting first is not your interest or his interest or your interest. It is the children's best interest. And so for that reason, I understand in that fit of anger, hostility, things get said in text messages and otherwise. But in my opinion, there's no excuse for the fact that you would use that kind of language towards the mother of your children. You need to think about the fact that in today's society, things like that become permanent. You can think you can delete them, but you can't necessarily. And as a result, if you want your children to grow up knowing that that's how you talk about their mother, then you've done a pretty good job as a start. So you need to do that. And this order that I'm going to put down, it not only accepts Ms. Roberts' proposal, but it's also going to include my order that there will be no derogatory remarks made by you towards her, period. And I don't care if it's in a text message, telephone call, or whatever. We're going to cut that out. Same thing goes with anyone else. Your wife is not I don't know your wife, but your wife is not a part of this action. But I'm ordering that there be no derogatory remarks made. When you have this visitation, and you're going to have the children go with you as they've set out, that you're going to have a week in the summer and so forth. Those things, when they happen, you're going to have them away from their mother. There's a temptation to try to justify yourself and to talk badly about their mother. Don't do that. Don't do that to your children, for one thing. Your children need to love both of you. They don't need to hear one of you downgrade the other one or make derogatory remarks. Putting in this order that there'll be no derogatory remarks made to each other, and there'll be no derogatory remarks made to the children. That is the main thing. The other thing is obviously, I applaud you if you have gotten your sobriety. And I'm just going to say that when the children are with you, there'll be no alcohol in you or on you, as they say. You don't have alcohol in your home when the children are there exercising their visitation. And, pardon? No, I'm not going to exclude the fact that there will be no alcohol at all. You've got family around. You don't consume it. And you just don't need to let your children see you. And obviously, if there's an issue, it has a way of bubbling up and surfacing if there's another problem. I trust you that you say you've gotten sobriety, and I'm going to give you that opportunity to see the children. But I want the order to reflect that you're not to consume alcohol while the children are with you. Okay? All right. And that's pretty much, what I wanted to say, with the exception of the fact that I understand as well from you, Ms. Whitworth, the natural animosity you have towards somebody who might talk to you like that, the natural animosity of someone that you might have towards somebody who hasn't paid child support. He'll pay a price for that in juvenile court. But what I think your job is going to be is to try to make sure that you don't let your personal feelings about how he's talked to you or what his attitude has been prevent you from being able to encourage him to have a good relationship or encourage the children to have a good relationship with him. That's going to be your job from here on out, because if you believe your children need to have both parents, then this is your opportunity to encourage them to go see their father, spend time with him, and make it something that they look forward to rather than the fact that they don't. So both of you try to put your children's best interests first, and hopefully you can work through this without any further problems. But we're not going to have any more of this language that's being used. And there really shouldn't be any anger or animosity. Try to reason with each other without, being angry, and I think you'll find that it goes a lot further. If you will extend the olive branch to each other, then I think you can do that. You also need to get involved with your children's school by getting, if there's a parent portal that you can get into to be aware of what's going on with your kids, then do that. And then, if you want to see your kids and he wants to show up down here, I understand you say, well, it might not be convenient. One of the things that bothered me about your testimony, I'll tell you, he said, I'm an hour and a half away, and he wanted to come by and see the kids. And you decided that that was not the best thing for your kids. Let him come by. There's no reason in the world, an hour and a half away, and he comes by for 30 or 40 minutes, They get to see their father. You know, by denying that, you are preventing them from having an opportunity to interact with their father. And then you complain because he's not been around. So what I want you to understand is if he has an opportunity to come by, let him come by, let him see the children. We used to have, one of our judges used to tell the mothers in cases, I didn't necessarily agree with it, let him see the children as often as he wants to, and he'll get tired of it soon. Was that judge's attitude. I don't think that's true, but it was good advice to let him see him. You know, if he's in the area, he calls you up and says, hey, I'm gonna be around because I've got a job or I've got something else. Let him see the kids. Don't deny him that opportunity. Denying him the opportunity does one thing. It prevents him from being able to see the children, but it does another thing. It reflects badly upon you as a parent because you're not protecting your children like you think you are. You are hurting him. And I understand why you might have felt that way. But from here on out, we're going to let him see the kids whenever he's able to be around. Now, by the same token, you can't just, call up every other day and say, hey, I'm in the area, I want to come by and see. It has to be reasonable. So both of you use common sense and be reasonable with each other. I think you both love your children. You just have to get past this animosity that's developed, and hopefully you can co-parent your children. Ms. Roberts will draw the order.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If I could have a minute before we start the next one, if I could
All
be
right.
excused to the ladies' room.
You may.
before we start the next one.
Well, there you have it. That was a lot of fun. I just tripped across some of the spicy bits, and I thought I have to do this this stream. I love Judge Wolf, the expressions on his face throughout, but especially at the end when the guy gets up there and says, "Yeah, I can go along with your plan." He's like, "Why do we do all this crap? Why do we do this?" As a pro se, he did an okay job, and when I say an okay job, he wasn't good in like a lawyer sense, but I knew what the hell he was asking for. He made sense, and he was thinking through the issues and saying what he wanted to occur. He's saying, he's also admitting things against interest. Hey, I used not paying as leverage, and I know that's bad. He acknowledged that. And then said, but here's ideally what I want to have happen. And stuck to the point. I was a little disappointed he didn't go off on an unhinged cross-examination. I was very disappointed, honestly. But there you have it. Good times. Good times. That attorney is just so extra. But she's effective. She gets stuff done for her clients. She really does. She makes it happen. But you can see that the judge knows he does this stuff all day. He knows the type of dispute he has. He knows that attorney. He knows this guy's not represented. He's thinking, oh, this is this hearing this hearing is not going to be good. Although actually because there weren't a lot of, to Dad's credit, he did some things wrong and all that stuff, but he admitted them, and there wasn't a bunch of procedural nonsense or like insane objections or craziness. It just played out. He just let her go. And she had points to make, and she did, and he got to express what he wanted, and then say, all right, fine, I'll do it their way. It was good times, though. I don't know if it'll stay up. I hope it does. Thank y'all for coming out. That was perfect. I was just here. I had a fantastic morning, and then I just had that glorious moment on vacation where I just took a nap in the middle of the day, and it felt so good. It really did. And then I woke up to that. Fun times. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you soon.